All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for jumping on. I'm sure we'll have some others that are still getting on throughout the event. I went ahead and muted everyone, so if I asked you to talk tonight, you can just unmute yourself when it's your turn. I am so pumped because I feel like the number one excuse we all hear from our potential distributors is that they're too busy to work this business. And how many of you have heard that from people that have already joined your team that are now saying they're too busy to join the business? So I invited 4 ladies to join me tonight who have crazy schedules that are going to tell you how they are still working this business and finding success even with the schedule that they have. So I can't see everyone on here, but if you guys would do me a huge favor and in the chat, just tell like 2 sentences about how crazy busy you are. Like, I just want to see so that you guys can all see that we are all super busy when we start this business and you are not alone in that. I always like to remind people that my life, the way it is now, is not what my life looked like 7 years ago. And I think it can be really confusing for people to think, well, of course Alyssa's successful. She has all of this time on her hands. Okay. I'm not successful because this is all that I do. This is all that I do because I found a way to be successful. Okay. It's totally different. I had 2 jobs when I started this. I picked up any gig to make extra money. So I've been there. I used to have to work on my lunch break. I used to have to stay up late or wake up early, make those sacrifices. I was in a long distance relationship. All of those things, I have been there. But I wanted you tonight to hear from people that are currently there, that are currently rocking this business with having a full-time job. Some of them have kids, husbands, significant others, all of the things. Okay, so that being said, let's just go for it. You guys can read through the chat and see who you are working alongside. You guys are all in my downline or sidelines to each other. So I think it's really important to know that you are not alone in the situation that you have and in the time that you have to work this business on a daily basis. And I also want you to hear why it's important for you to be disciplined and work this business on a busy schedule and how much time or even just freedom that this business can give you, even when you have a full-time job. It's not always about freedom of time. Sometimes it's about freedom of stress, freedom of debt. There's just so many reasons that people do this in addition to a full-time job, okay? It's not everyone's goal to retire by doing it works, and that's okay. All right, so I'm going to start with my friend Lindsay over here. I meant to have it on speaker view, so sorry about that. All right, so I already played your walk-up song for you, so you're good to go. Do you just share like a little bit of your story?
Sure. I have been doing this for about 3.5 years now. I originally, and I'm sorry, but my dog is probably going to bark. She's already jumping at me. So I started to just make an extra $300 a month. I needed to fix my car. I needed to take my dog to the vet. I had no savings whatsoever. I'm a graphic designer by trade. Told you. I'm a graphic designer by trade. And I love it. I loved what I did. I did not join this to quit. Hold on. Sorry.
Always.
She's like a child. Anyway, so I didn't join this to quit my job. I loved it. And I loved the people I worked with, and I loved the company. I just was broke. And it wasn't because I was spending money. It was because I just did not make a lot of money. And I didn't want to freelance because my creative brain was just tapped out at the end of the day. And so I said yes to this, and it didn't look back. I needed money, so I did the things that someone who was making money, Alyssa, told me to do. And I ended up going. I got the Ruby bonus. I think I was like the first one on the team to ever get a Ruby bonus because they had just announced it. And it was $500 when I got it. Then 5 months into my business, I went diamond, getting a $10,000 bonus. And then 3 months after that, I went double diamond. My plans changed, and I ended up quitting my job 10 months because I wanted to own my time. I wanted to travel, and I did. And I got to go so many places, and it was so much fun, and I loved it. But then last fall, winter, I really started getting the bug to design again. And I didn't want to freelance. I hate freelancing. And so, you know, I sat with that, prayed about it, and I decided to go back to work in January. January is when I started that. Started my job. Different company, same thing. I'm still designer. Love it. But, you know, I've worked this business as a side business to make $100. I work this business to quit my job. I've worked this business as my only job. And, you know, I've worked it so many different ways. So now I'm working it. Oh my gosh.
And now she's working it with a barking dog.
Yes. And now I work it on the side as a double diamond leader. And, you know, I'm actively trying to promote. I'm not just sitting here. So I'm working my business. And so that's kind of my story in a nutshell. And I don't know if you want me to touch on this, but why I'm doing it even with a full-time job still, because I mean, I can pay my bills, you know, and I could easily this could take a back burner, but I'm doing it because one, I want to be debt free, big one. But other short-term ones are, I just love to travel. I want to beef up my savings. I really want to go to Israel next year. I want to do things that take money. And the other big ones are, you know, I've made amazing friends doing this, and it just connects me to those people and that network. And honestly, I want to be able to stay home with my kids. I'm single. I don't have any kids. And so now's the time for me to be busy. Now's the time for me to really pour into myself and my future. And so when I get married or have kids, I don't know which one, but I will probably be quitting my job, and I want to be able to do that without having to think about it. If the guy I end up with hates his job, I don't want him to have to stay there. I want him to work a job he loves, and I want to be able to give my family that. So that is why I still work it. You know, I've got the short-term goals of debt-free, traveling, beefing up my savings, but the big stuff is where I really continue to push for the big goals.
I was going to say exactly what Tiffany put in the chat. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but it gives you options. I was going to say something along those lines, like, they say money doesn't buy you happiness, but it pays for a lot of things that stress out a lot of normal people. So, okay, so let's just dive right in just to give people an idea, because you're going to have a pretty normal work schedule compared to most people, like just because I know your hours and your days. So what does a day look like with your job, with also working this business?
Yeah. So, I have a normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 with a lunch break. And so every day pretty much looks the same full-time job wise. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just going to go like by habit. So like, if I'm not up and out of bed by 6:30, my day go right. So I'm out of bed by 6:30. I do my personal God time until 7, which is when I start getting ready for work, and I hop on the group Devo, which we have a team Devo every morning at 7. It's an amazing way to start your day. So I get on that. I'm a mess and doing my hair and makeup while we're doing it, and everybody gets to watch me do that. So I do that, and then I leave, and I get to work around 8-ish. And I work from 10 to 12. I mean, if someone messages me, I'll respond, but I don't actively do anything while I'm working. Like if someone has a question about the cleanse, or someone was wanting, you know, ready to order, obviously I'll respond to them because it's not that strict, or I'll go to the bathroom and drink a lot of water, you guys. Bathroom breaks are your friend. So I go to the bathroom a lot, take my phone, shove it in my bra, and I go, and I'll answer them. But I'm not actively sending messages. I'm not posting. I post in the morning sometimes, usually post on my lunch break, and I'll post at night. But, you know, I'm not going to post while I'm working. And then I take my lunch break at noon, but I don't eat on my lunch break. I go sit in my car. There's the same parking lot I always go to every single day. I sit in my car and I send messages. And I do, like, it changes based on what my goals are. This month I'm really pushing for volume. So, I make sure to send at least 15 messages to people if they would like to try the products. Once I've done that, you start to get responses, and I'll have conversations until 1 o'clock, until I have to go back to work. if I don't, and it's just like, okay, now I have 30 minutes, I always keep my book that I'm reading for self-development in my car. Sorry. Because I read in my car. I'm not going to get up any earlier than 6:30, and I'm not going to stay up later to read. So that's when it gets done, is in my car. So I do that. I just sit there and read. And I'm sure I look like a crazy person to everybody else that drives past my car because I'm just lounging in there. And so then I go back to work, and I eat lunch at my desk after that around 1, and then I work till 5. And then I drove home. And so because I'm single, I don't have anyone that can make me dinner. I don't have any of that. I don't have anyone who can do my laundry or clean my house. Like, that's me. So I kind of give myself until after I'm finished with dinner to just decompress from my workday. Like, I need that. So I get home, say hi to my dog, change clothes, cook dinner, and eat. And I take my time and I decompress. Again, if someone messages me, I always message back, but I'm not actively working during the time. Once I'm done working or done eating, I set up. I get on the couch, I spread out, I've got my charts, I've got my notebook, I've got my laptop, and I work. And at night, I like to do my host to post feelers, which if you don't know that, I guess there's a Zoom for it, so watch that. But host to post feelers at night because they're a lot more, you have to like actually be talking to them, and then if someone comments, you have to go do that, and that's just too much pressure and too stressful to do while I'm working. So I do that at night. So during lunch, I send out my product tester ones, and then at night I send 15 to 20 host to post feelers. And so then, you know, if maybe I'll do 10 and then I'll do 10 follow-ups. I don't know. I just message and I work for about an hour, 2 hours, depending on what's going on. Some nights I'm drained and I need sleep more, so I go to bed a little earlier. But I'm always messaging, always following up, posting. You know, I don't have the, you know, significant other that's like, well, let's watch TV. Like, I don't have that, but I do have a roommate, and we do enjoy watching a movie together every once a week we'll watch a movie together. Or we watch MasterChef. That's our show. So I am present for that when we're doing that. But I'm also making sure I'm thinking, like, if I go out to eat with someone for lunch, then that night I am super focused and I'm making up that time. Always something that gives. If something gives, it has to like pick up somewhere else, but it's kind of my day. And then I go to bed. I usually go to sleep around 11 unless it's in a month or unless I'm pushing for a promotion. When I was working and I was going diamond or double diamond, I was up till 1 or 2.
You like
those big goals by going to bed at 11, it's just not going to happen. So
I love it. I like that you work from 8 to 5, which means you leave your house at, 7:40 or whenever you jump off the Zoom. You don't get home right at 5. You get home at 5:30. You cook dinner. Like, you still got a good hour with God. You did your devos, your devo and our devo. You did personal development. You got your messages out. You did host to post feelers. Like, literally, you can accomplish so much in really just an hour to 1 to 3 hours a day. So,
and I'm not saying I'm sitting on the couch and I'm a hermit, y'all. I grew up in Chelsea. My sister's on here. She can attest. Like, the way our dad unwound from his day is TV. Like, he just loves TV. And so that I kind of adopted that from him. Well, there will be a time when it's like, okay, it's 10:30. I need 30 minutes and I'll throw on The Office or, and it's not like I'm just go, 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 go. Like, I still take care of my mental health and things like that. But the beauty of this business is if you focus for an hour to 2 hours a day, and I'm consistently doing it from 2 to 3 hours broken up, but like when you combine it, it's 2 to 3 hours. That's a lot of work, and that adds up. And to be honest, you guys, when I did work this full time, I was not working that much more. Like Alyssa sits down for 8 hours and works the whole time. Like, no, she has a life. So it just looks different. So, yeah, possibly you just have to be.
I mean, like today I did at least 4 loads of laundry and cleaned up puppy puke about 73 times. So, I mean, I worked for about the same amount of time you did. Okay, so we'll just end with this just to get to the next person. can you give us like your best tip or two for someone that's working this business full-time with a full-time job? I mean,
Okay. So my biggest two tips are one for your whole life, personal and business, one notebook. That's it. I've tried so many things. This is the thing that's best for me. I keep it everywhere. I take it to work with me. I keep it in my car. It comes to bed with me. It's got charts in it. It's got all my lists. It's got my enrollments. It's got my grocery list. It's got meal plan. I mean, it has everything in one spot. When I break things up into lists, multiple places or multiple calendars or whatever, I can't do it. So I have everything in one spot, and write things down, because when you're busy, things will slip through the cracks if you don't have them written down. My other thing is something that I don't remember where he said it. You might know. But Mark, in one of his speeches, it probably was conference, but I don't know, said, win the day. You win enough days, you win the week, you win enough weeks, you win the month, you win enough months, you win the year. So ever since then, I've kind of adopted win the day. And that means different things for me every single day. And so sometimes, like if I have like a doctor's appointment or dinner with my parents, winning the day simply means getting out 15 messages, and that's my day. If I did that, I won the day. If I have no plans, winning the day means something totally different. It means sending out 30 messages, doing follow-up, going through perk points, it means something different. So you have to define what winning the day means for you. And you have to kind of look at your big goal and then like reverse engineer it. But if I put my head on my pillow and can say, I'm happy with what I did today, I won the day, and I let myself off the hook for anything I didn't get done. And so define that for yourself. What does that look like for you? Because it's going to be different than what it looks like for me, because we have different goals, we have different lives. So
I love that tip. I think it was a conference that he said that, maybe 2 years ago. But I was just telling someone earlier, I think she's on here, but we were talking about just being overwhelmed with training new distributors and helping people get started and answering questions. And like, especially for those of you who are on here that are growing a team or you're a leader, it can be very overwhelming to like squeeze in your own personal business along with everything else that you've got going on. And so my advice to her was, before you open up any of those messages, before you do anything, like after you do whatever your morning routine is, like, if you do a Devo in the morning, but the first thing that you need to do for your business needs to be for you. It needs to be your thing for the day that'll make you feel proud, so that if you don't do anything else, if your life just goes crazy and the wheels fall off and you can't do anything else, you can still go to bed knowing that you did that thing that you said that you were going to do. Because the only time I really feel anxious over my business is when I know I didn't do something that I really intended to do that day. So I love that. Just win the day. And it can't always be, I'm going to sign a distributor or I'm going to sign a loyal. It's got to be based on something that you can control. I mean, there are days where you're like, I've got to sign a customer, but that makes you follow up. It makes you post. It makes you message people. So just make sure that it's not just attached to an outcome, but it's attached to an action.
Yeah. And my team, they don't hear from me. If they hear from me, not saying I just leave my team behind, but if they hear from me, it is at night after I've done everything, because I went into management mode at one point in my business, and it is nasty, and you don't want to do it. It's so destructive for your business. So that's not even on my list of winning the day. Like if they hear from me, that's icing on the cake. I will obviously respond to them if they reach out to me, but when you're that busy, you've got to prioritize. And so they're going to follow your example anyway. So you got to set that example.
And I feel like so much of our success is based on the actions that we take. And so you have to prioritize the income producing actions when you are busy, which means the messaging, the following up, the posting, everything else is generally fluff. Okay. All of the extra stuff, you kind of have to cut that out. I see a lot of people that are super, super busy who prioritize the wrong things. So they spend the same amount of time working their business, but they're not actually doing the things that are producing results. So, okay. And I had another question, but I think we kind of answered it through the questions about non-negotiables, because it's basically what you do, what you have time for.
Yeah. And it also changes based on what's working. So like the algorithm on Instagram is weird. So I don't focus on posting or liking. I just focus on posting on my story. Like, that's the thing where I've been posting on my story about chocolate skinny coffee for, gosh, probably 3 months now. And I signed 2 loyals the past 2 days because I've been that consistent. Every single morning I'm drinking it. I am on there posting about it like every single day. And it took 3 months, but I got them, you know.
Got them.
Got them.
All right. Erin, let me see. Where are you, friend? There you are.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, girl.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you today?
Every time I just look at you, I just smile because you're just always like, I don't know. Does anyone else feel that way? Like, it just makes me happy just to like look at you and talk to you. It's a very amazing gift that you have. Okay, so tell us just about you.
All right. Well, just kind of following Lindsay's lead there, I joined the business 3 years ago. I'm a registered nurse, and I was a loyal customer before I ever joined the business. And the products helped me so much that all I could think about was getting them in the hands of other people. Like, I really had no idea that you could actually make money. I had no idea that there were people making lots of money or being successful or what the compensation plan was. I've never done anything like this before. So really making money was very secondary. It was just all about, I've got to help people feel better because that's just the nurse in me. If there's other nurses on the team, they know what I'm talking about. Like, you just want to help so bad. So I kind of went crazy whenever I very first joined 3 years ago. I got the Ruby bonus for myself, and then kind of like, it was just kind of crazy. Like, it just really happened really fast. And so looking back on that, I don't really know how it happened. That was kind of that enthusiasm on fire kind of thing. I mean, it just went crazy. And then I got the Ruby bonus for my husband. And then a couple of years ago, promoted to Emerald and got that's when they did the $2,000 Emerald bonus. Yeah. A couple of years ago after conference. So I came back from conference and just went crazy again and got that $2,000 Emerald bonus. And since then, I've been charted for Diamond a couple of times, and it's fallen apart a couple of times. And so I'm building back up. I've got 2 really great new girls that have just kind of breathed some new life into my team that have just been wonderful. Yeah, so looking forward to just building that up again with a couple of girls that I feel like are just going to be in it for the long run, and just really excited about that.
That is amazing. Your skin is glowing. I know I already said that, but it's got to be that keto life.
It's that keto thing. Today is the year that my husband and I have been on keto. So that's part of our life. We've got this keto group on Facebook that has over 7,300 people in it.
Crazy.
Started off wanting just, honest to God, Alyssa, I wanted 50 to 100 people, of people that I knew to be in the group so that I could talk about keto to them. And it's just grown. I mean, it's spread all over the world. And so part of my day and part of my business building is taking care of that group, because a lot of my customers and distributors have come from nurturing that group.
Heck yeah, that group is crazy. Okay, so tell us just like kind of your typical day. What does it look like?
Yeah, so the way that I work my business, I've got 2 kids here at home. They're 10 and 7. And so then, of course, my husband, and he's super, super supportive. So I'm very grateful for him and all of his support with all of this. But the way that I normally do it is I get up in the morning, and I always, while I'm getting ready for work, I'm either listening to a video on YouTube from an It Works leader, or I listen to a Dave Ramsey video. So I'm always listening to something in the morning that kind of gets me going. Then after we drop the kids off at school, I usually have about a 30-minute window before I have to go into work at 8:30. So I'll sit in my car and message people. I always wake up in the morning to questions from group members, that are reaching out, that have questions about keto and that kind of thing. So I try to nurture those relationships, message those people in the morning. And then on my lunch break, I do a lot of samples. Like, I sell just a tremendous amount of keto coffee samples, the energy stick samples. So usually at lunchtime, I'm making a post office run to mail out samples, because I just signed so many loyals from letting them try the samples. Because that's what happened for me. I tried the greens and confianza as samples and signed up as a distributor. So, like, I don't know how I've built my business. So lunchtime, I'm going to the post office. And then after work, I get off about 5:30. We get the kids, we get home. My husband does the vast majority of the cooking. And even though I have this really cool home office here in the island of our kitchen, I set up my iPad, and that's where I have my charts, and I talk to people and message them and put sample packets together. And I do all this while he's cooking dinner, and I'm busy with him and catching up. Like, the kitchen has kind of become the hub of my business, even though I could go back there. But then I feel lonely if I'm back there, that I'm sad if I'm not back there, and I don't like it. So So I'm either doing that or like, I work out 3 to 4 days a week. And so the days whenever I'm not working out and he is, he'll work out, I'll be in there with him and I'm messaging people. And so I just try to like fit it in while I'm with my family a lot of times too. And then in the evenings, on the couch, my kids like to sit on the couch and watch TV. And so I try to as discreetly as I can be on my phone, answering questions, talking to people while I'm on the couch with them. And then at very late at night, like while Steve's in the shower, then I'm wrapping up a few messages, sending out messages, checking on people. One thing I do every single day is check downline auto shipments to see whose auto shipments are running the next couple of days. So I can remind people, check their perk points. I try to take really good care of my customers so that they, so they stick around. So that's kind of a normal day for me.
Could you come take care of my customers? Does anyone else feel that way? I'm like, yeah. I love taking care of them when they reach out to me, but gosh, if they could just all me, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
I love just the way that you described that, because I feel like a lot of people, especially when they're newer, feel like this business has to be separate from their life. Like they need to have an hour, they need to have an office, they need to have a separate time. And that's just not realistic for most people. Like, especially when you have a family or a husband or dogs, like seriously, my dog seriously took over my entire life today. So I feel like that's so important for people to hear, is like, especially if you can get the spouse on board. Like maybe they don't totally understand it. And I always tell people, like, let them know how much fun you're having and that you enjoy it and that you're getting to know people. Like let them know that side of it when you're new, because you're not going to be making $1 million. Eventually they'll catch the vision for the business side of it, but let them know how much you love it. Even if you're feeling frustrated, they need to see the good side, because they will be supportive of anything that's making you happy, or they should be. And then it's okay if you're messaging while they're making dinner, or, they're in the shower and you're messaging. Like you need to have that quality time, but also know that you can have some time that is together, but you're still being productive. So you kind of just have to find that balance. And it's something that you need to communicate with that person too. But I know for Tyler and I, it's like, okay, like, can you cook dinner? I'll send out these messages. Or, hey, tonight I will not have my phone at dinner, but when we watch the show later, I really need to like wrap up some of these conversations. Like we're just open about it. And I just tell him, and I'm sure sometimes it's not easy for him, but he also knows how important the business is to us and to me. So anyways, okay. So tell me about, what was the next thing? I lost my order. Non-negotiables. I guess tell me that. Like, is there anything specific that you like refuse not to do on a daily basis? Like, what is your number 1, 2, 3 priorities?
Yeah, I'm really checking those downline auto shipments. I get obsessed with that and making sure people are getting what they want. Do they want to try something else? Do they need to change their date? I manage a lot of my customers' accounts because I'm crazy freak about that. So that's a big deal. And then, my 2 girls that I mentioned that are newer, I try to make sure that I talk to them every single day, trying to still help them get launched and want to let them know that I'm here for them, and just really nurturing them is super, super important. And then, honestly, taking care of the keto group because it's, I don't know, it's like, it's helping my business grow so much. It's like, I can help all these people in this group. And then some of them have become customers and they've become friends. And so making sure that I just nurture that group. And there have been times when I've not done very well at that, but those are the days I feel the best. When I check on those customers, I talked to those 2 girls, and I was engaging with the keto group. That is a successful day.
Well, I think it's awesome that you take care of that group. I think it should be a priority for you. I know that a lot of, your customers, and I know you love it. And that's the thing that I've noticed about you. Like, I feel like over the last, I don't know how long, like at least 6 months, that I've just noticed this like difference in you. Like you've always been like super happy, always like just glowing with all of that. I know you've always loved helping people, but I feel like once you found like your avenue, and the thing that made you so happy in this business is getting to combine your family with keto plus works. Like, I feel like that changed everything for you. Like, you just love it. And that makes such a big difference. So I love that. Okay. So lastly, what are your, like, if you have 1 or 2 tips for people that are just so busy, especially starting out? Like, what are your tips for them?
Yeah, I mean, just what I tell myself every single day is if I don't intentionally make it happen, it does not happen. I mean, it can just be so easy to go down the rabbit hole of scrolling and of texting and just messing around the house. I mean, there's so many times I'm just here at the house, I'm just messing around. Like I'm not even really doing anything. So it's just you just have got to be intentional. And I need to be more intentional than I am. Like I'm talking to myself on that, but
We all need to.
I mean, we just do. It's just so easy to just be all over the place. So just knowing that, you know, if you don't make it happen, it doesn't happen. And then just knowing, Dave Ramsey says it all the time, that we win at whatever we focus on. And so that's where my success is going to lie, on those things that I'm focusing on. So I've got to make sure that we're focusing on the right things.
I love it. I love that both of you guys said that even with your full-time jobs and everything you also have going on, you make time for personal development. Like you listen to it on the way or before work. Lindsay either reads it or listens to it or whenever in her car. I think that speaks volumes. So if you're on here watching that, like, I know we preach that a lot, like what you focus on is what you attract or what you win. Personal development is a huge part of that. It's something that we say, but it's something that we actually mean. It's not just something that sounds good coming out of our mouths. We say it because it makes a difference. It helps you be intentional. And even though it feels like reading a book or watching a video or listening to a podcast isn't making you money, it will, because the things that you learn and the things that you feed your brain will come to be in your business, and it'll help you lead people. It'll help you pour into people. It'll make you feel just more focused and more energized. So we don't say that lightly when we tell you guys how important that personal development is from the beginning. You know, I didn't start it from the very beginning. I wish I would have, but I started as quickly as I found out how important it was. When I found out that it should be about 30% of how you spend your time, that was huge to me. And I feel like a completely different person on the days that I do it and on the days that I don't. So make time for that. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Fun.
All right, Kelsey, where are you? I need to have this grid on. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Did I see you drinking wine, or was that someone else?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm jealous. All right. Okay. So just share everyone like a little bit about your story, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So I started this business back in March. My boyfriend was actually friends with Chelsea on Facebook, and we moved in together, and we were in our apartment for about a year. We live in California, so West Coast time. And our rent, of course, is crazy expensive here. We both were working full-time. I was working 60 hours a week as a caregiver. And we just both realized that, you know, we were pouring so much of our income just into our rent and basic living expenses that we needed another avenue of income to save money. We both love traveling. We needed an extra income to make that happen and to save our money. So we were looking on Facebook one night, and we saw Chelsea. She had just joined as well, and she posted something about the business, and he turned to me. He's like, "Hey, I know this girl on my Facebook. What do you think about, you know, doing this online thing that she's talking about?" And of course, we were a little apprehensive because everyone sees the whole, you know, make money from your phone online ads and all that. And a lot of the times, I'm not going to lie, it's not what it's made out to be. It's, you know, people will lure you in with big promises and, you know, all of that stuff. But I talked to Chelsea, and I just knew that, you know, this could be the answer to our prayers. Like, this could be the extra avenue of income. I myself have always had a dream of working for myself. I never liked the idea of having a boss. From when I was little, I never understood, you know, why people had to give up so much of their free time and so much time with their family and friends to go and work for somebody else and make somebody else money while they are kind of sitting on the back end, you know, not getting what they deserve. So I always just wanted to work for myself. And I just saw this opportunity as, like I said, an answer to our prayers, what we were hoping for and what we needed to be happy in our own lives. So I jumped into this full force. I went diamond in June. And you know, and that was
in
with
March,
work.
Diamond in June, for those of you listening.
That was with working 12-hour days, 60 hours a week. And I was lucky, my caregiver for the client I was working with, I was able to be on my phone a lot. And so I did a lot of my business while I was at work, because when I would come home, I mean, I would leave at 7 a.m. and get home at 9 p.m. So there wasn't a whole lot of time before and after for me to work this. I do get up early. I get up at 4:30 or 5 every day to go to the gym. That's very important to me. And so I always make time for that. And so I started this business being able to work my business a lot while I was at my regular job. And just this last month, this business has allowed me to cut back on my hours and take a different position within my company. But that position also requires more of my attention, and I'm not able to be on my phone as much. And so right now I'm getting up a little bit earlier. First things first, I'm a dog mom. I'm 21 years old, so I'm young. I don't have any kids yet, but I get up early in the morning. I take care of my dogs. I take them out. I have a puppy, which, requires so much of my boyfriend and I's attention. So I take care of him first. My other dog, we're able to put out on the balcony, and she kind of just hangs out for a little bit, feed her and all that. And then, so I'll do that. And then I will get dressed quick. I will head to the gym at our apartment complex. And while I'm at the gym, while I'm running on the treadmill, I'll go through and I'll reply to any messages I got over the night. I'll plan out my post for the morning. And so I'm doing that. I'll come home, and that's when I shower and I get ready, and then I'll make the post. Like what Lindsay said as well, I drink the keto coffee every morning. And so I always try and make a post about that. And that got me a loyal customer yesterday for the keto coffee. So that repetition and that consistency of posting about that has also proved to be really successful with me. And then I like what you said too, Alyssa, about your significant other needing to be at least somewhat aware of the time that you put into this to be successful. My boyfriend's actually in the other room right now, helping me create a post or a picture to advertise the DT aspect of the business. So he is absolutely amazing. He totally gets it. He's a hustler himself. So we work together with It Works, and he is such a vital part of my success. I'm so appreciative of him. And so while I'm at work, I'm not able to be on my phone as much. And so that is really hard for me because I want to be with It Works constantly. So I take the bathroom breaks, I check my messages, I'll make a post while I'm at work, whether I'm in the bathroom or on my lunch. On my lunch, I do message back, and then I really try to make it a point to get in contact with any potential DTs and then any new DTs that have joined recently, because I want to make sure that I am keeping up with them and making sure their questions are getting answered. A lot of them will personally message me. So I always make sure to have that as a priority during my day. Just because I know that when I first started, if I didn't have the support from my team and with Chelsea and Tiffany, I would not be where I'm at right now. So I always make it a point to make sure that they know I am there for them and I help them as much as I possibly can during that hour. And then I go back to work. I get off at 5. I have an hour commute home. So during that time, I will send voice messages. I'll listen to voice messages. I'll hop on any videos that are out there. And then I get home, and it's kind of like hustle bustle. Once I get home, again, I come home to my boyfriend. We always make sure that we spend quality time together and go over, how his day was. I don't neglect, his life as well. We always make it a priority to really touch base and kind of disconnect from everything else and work on our goals together. And with what he does with work as well, because it's also an entrepreneur avenue he's going down. So he needs my support with that as well. And I love giving him that. And so during that time, I may not be on my phone as much just because that's how it is. I get home, we have our wine, we go over how his day was. I tell him anything that happened with my day, take care of the dogs. Again, they need to go out, they need to eat. Our older one needs to go on a walk. Our puppy hasn't had all of his shots yet. So he stays home, but then we make dinner, and we always try to go to bed a little earlier because we do start our days so early. And I think it's super important that you take that personal care and you get enough sleep, you're energized and capable of fulfilling all of your just daily needs. And so we make sure that we take that time for ourselves and that we don't sacrifice our personal care for our, career development, because personal care leads to that. So during that time, I'll be on my phone. I will maybe send out 15 new LC messages. I'll follow up. We make dinner, we get in bed, we like to watch shows together. We have our specific shows. And so we'll watch that. I'll go over my charts at that same time and just do all of that stuff. And then on the weekends, we are usually very busy. I'm either, my family is a couple hours away. So if they need anything, or if we have a family event, I'll go to that. And I'm not as connected with my phone during that time just because I don't see my family as much. So, on the weekends, I try and make them a priority as well as everything else that we need to get done. But I would say during my lunch period and then the time before work and after work is when I really am plugged in and I am sending out my messages, following up, staying connected with my team. So.
I love it. I love that you guys each have like some sort of routine. It might look a little bit different every day, but like for the most part, when you're working, what you're going to do during that time, like that is one of the most important things I think that someone with a busy schedule can do. It's not all going to look the same as any of these girls, but you have to know when you're going to do it. Because if you don't know when you're going to do it, you're not going to do it. If you don't know what you're going to do, you're not going to do it.
And I am such a routine oriented person. Like if I don't know what I am going to do for the following day, if I don't have a plan of action, then I am not going to fulfill all of my goals. I'm not going to get out all my messages and get out all the posts I want to. Like I need to have a set routine and I need to know what my plan of action is for the next day, or else I feel very unaccomplished and I don't fulfill what I know needs to be done in order for me to stay consistently successful with both this and then, have our own relationship time and all of that. So.
Well, in addition to that, if we don't have some sort of system that we follow, whether you do this full-time or very, very part-time, your team or your future team is not going to know what to mimic. Because if you don't have a daily list of things like, if I only get these 3 things done, I will be proud. If you don't have that, then your team isn't going to have that. And then they're not going to get their things done. And constantly just wheels spinning. And, so many of us were trained to work for someone else, to show up to a job for these set of hours. This was our goal. They give you what you're going to do each day, what they expect of you. This business is a little bit different because we don't tell you exactly what you have to do every time you have a minute to work your business. You have some flexibility there, but you've got to find things that work for you as quickly as you can. And then you have to commit to doing them every single day and knowing that it's going to pay off. And I think that's what's hard for people. So if you're watching, find those times of your day, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, designate those times as your it works time, just like you would if you had a job. They would expect you to be there 8 to 5. You're going to show up from 12 to 1 on your lunch break or whatever, and then decide what you're going to do during that time. Because then all you have to think about during that time is doing the work rather than what am I going to do? So 2 things. I love that you said, all I want to do is like work. All I want to do is it works. Like you just want to be on your phone. Like how cool is it that we have a job that we feel anxious when we're not able to do it? Like I know some people probably think that we're workaholics, but I think it's amazing that we do something that we are eager to do, that we feel weird when we're not connected to the team or we're not doing those things. So that's awesome. Just wanted to point that out. And also the fact that you're 21 and you joined in March and went diamond in June, and the way that you're talking and how much you have going on and the amount of hours that you work, that is just crazy. It's crazy that, I know that I joined this business at 22, but it's still so crazy to me that people can join so young and have that kind of work ethic and be that kind, like have that, just be intentional with their time, because it is rare for people to be pushing that hard with that kind of schedule. So good for you. And I am, for the most part, right with you with personal care except for end of month. I mean, there are some days that this hair is just covered in dry shampoo. So I totally believe taking care of yourself, except for at certain times in your business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the end of the month, last month, I think I was up until maybe midnight, 1, 2 on a weekday, just trying to make sure that everything was going right with the team and that I had everything in line to end the month how I wanted. So yeah, end of month is different. That's a whole different
exceptions to everything that we're telling you guys tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just end with like 1 or 2 tips that you would give someone on your team or on the team that just have a crazy schedule, that want to make this work.
I would personally say that whatever time you can put into this business, I know that some days I am only able to put maybe an hour total into this business, but I would say be as purposeful with that time as possible. Like, it's okay if crazy stuff happens, but you need to make sure that you get done, I can't think of the word, but like if you are, your non-negotiables is the word. If you need to send out your 50 messages and post twice a day, you get that done no matter what your day looked like. So you need to be purposeful and productive with the time that you can put into this. And that may change day to day, but you need to make sure you get your non-negotiables done, and just don't end the day disappointed or, feeling let down because you didn't get what you needed to do done.
I love it. Thanks, girl.
Yeah,
You're
thank
awesome. That was so good. Tiffany said either we look like beauty queens or look homeless. No in between. True.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, where is LaShonda?
We're here.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, girls.
All right, you know the drill. Try to share your story in just a few minutes.
Okay, so my name's LaShonda. I have been it was 5 years in June, and I am not your typical joining girl because I only joined to help a friend. I was a friend that was in the business, and she wanted, first she's like, oh, I need, help with the customer. I was like, sure, no problem. So I ordered quite a few months, like 6 or more months of what we had back then, which I think we still have, called the skinny pack. And it was like wraps, fat fighters, and defining gel. Mm-hmm. And all 6 to 8 months, I'm not going to say which one it was, sat on a shelf and just sat there in the box unopened. And then it was, she was going for a promotion and she needed help with needing a distributor, that whole thing. And I was like, sure, I guess. Okay, whatever. But I'm not working because I am too busy. I do not have time. I have a daughter that's in high school, and I don't have time. So whatever. So, but I signed up literally just to help for no other reason. And lo and behold, now I am here, still here. She actually is no longer here. But all of that to say that you don't have to necessarily always join with the intention of being able to do what you think you're going to do with it. Because it definitely was not what I had any intentions, because literally my job, I work for an administration building in the education, and I'm executive director of an education foundation. I handle all the events for 6 high schools. So I don't care if it's prom, graduation, Red Ribbon Week, National School Choice Week, whatever it is, I am in charge of that. Plus at that time, I had a daughter that was in high school getting ready to graduate. So, and she was in cheer. So as you could see, I was a cheer mom, plus work and all that. I just didn't have time. But what we also learned to find out is busy people are the people that we like the most, because you can multitask. You probably have a network of people because you are so busy. So we learned how to utilize that. She literally came to my job. I was like, again, I'm not working this. She's like, oh, just have a few people there and I can wrap. She came up to my job. She wrapped them. And 6 of the 7 actually signed up to become loyal customers. And then she placed them up under me. I had no clue, because remember, all she said was she needed my network, nothing else. And then I got a check. And then the next month I got another check, and I didn't quite understand why I was getting a check when I really didn't do much. And then that's when I learned about residual income. And so then I kind of was like, oh, so you mean to tell me work that's done 1 month, I continue to get paid off of it? And then that's when it kind of clicked to me that, okay, well, I'll just take a couple $100, maybe get my nails done, pay for some cheer stuff. And then it just kind of, for some reason, I got excited about the money and what I could do and how I could change lives. Because if you know anyone who's in education, they usually like changing lives. So that's how I had to look at it, and not so much as a job, but as a opportunity to share, because we like to share. So basically, I just share what I do. So
I love it. Okay, so tell us like what's your typical day, and where do you squeeze the business in?
Okay, so typical day, like right now, school is about to start, so I'm extremely busy. I will wake up in the morning and I know, don't laugh, I will plan some messages and plan some posts while I am doing my morning using the bathroom. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm sitting there, right? And I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
I have my phone in my hand because most people scroll and do whatever, so I might as well multitask and take that time to do that. So that's kind of what I do first. Then it's getting ready. Then we have morning devotion, which is very important, but not only for myself, but for me to pray for my girls, and just being together as one in the morning to start off your day with prayer and start off your day with devotion, I think is very important. So that's kind of one of my, I can't really say a non-negotiable, because sometimes I just can't quite make it, but I also know that even if I'm not there, the girls are praying for me and everyone else. So then I'm usually on my drive to work is still kind of when we're doing devotion. But then once I get to work, kind of like everybody else said, they take that time to run in the bathroom real fast. The bathroom will become your friends, ladies, or gentlemen, if there's one on. I take that time to kind of run in, look real fast, see if anyone has said anything, and then kind of like, okay, well, now I can post this, keep up with this, and now that you can schedule things, I kind of do that. Then I'm
sorry, I have to interrupt this because I don't know who said it, but bathroom breaks are the heartbeat of my business.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. More than one of us said, we do things in the bathroom.
Sorry to interrupt, but
you're in there. All you're doing is sitting on the toilet, like multitask. Use your time wisely. And so then I'm crazy busy with just the work day and people coming in and out of my office, people wanting things. Then again, guess what? Go to the bathroom. I check my phone. I do whatever it is that I need to do in there for a few minutes. And like Lindsay said, water is your friend. If you're just drinking water, like, oh, well, she has to use the bathroom a lot. No one really thinks anything much about it. Then during my lunch, when I do—
You guys are too much in the chat right now.
During my lunch, when I have an actual time of lunch that I can set aside, I really try to use that. Again, it's all about using your time wisely, even if it's only 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And it's doing things like making sure that I've followed people, making sure that I've followed up, making sure that I at least know maybe what the next post is going to be or what it is that I'm going to use to be able to post, what could be anything, and how to use my day when I am posting. I'm usually at work from 7:30 to, on a typical day, 5, but now that it is beginning of school, it may be 6 or 7, that type of thing. And then what happens is when I get home, of course, I have to see my husband, say hi. My husband and I had to, because that's the thing, I remember I'm a mom. Well, now she's 24 and graduated, but I still am a wife, so I have to kind of play wife role. To balance that out, what I have learned to do is sometimes he just likes to watch TV with me. That just means me sitting. But sometimes he really wants me to focus. So we'll take a show that we watch together, and I will be like, okay, I'm going to spend this time. We're going to watch this show together. But you have to promise not to speed through the commercials. The commercials are my time to work, because if you think about it, there's at least 15 minutes worth of commercials in a 45-minute or an hour-long show. Well, even if you did 15 times 5 days a week, think about how much time it is that you're actually spending, plus the time that you're using the bathroom, 5 to however many minutes it takes you, I don't know. You can actually pretty much work 30 minutes a day, or even sometimes an hour. And then that time I am still following up, following people, looking on Facebook, seeing who I need to catch back up with, and then still giving him his devotion of time, but then taking the time that I need, and everybody is happy. Everyone is excited. The other thing that I really try to make sure that I do is to, I just lost I just lost my thought. Oh, when I'm driving on the way home is my self-development. I forgot that. So I'm either trying to listen to an audiobook. I was never an audiobook person, but I got to use my time wisely. Or like in this case, say if there's something part on the Zoom that I maybe missed, and because it's recorded, I'll take this time to, even if I'm not really paying attention and watching, I can still hear it. And so I use my time in the car instead of really listening to the radio or just listening to nothing, is try to do self-development. And I guess that's pretty much how my day is, but it's still crazy busy. But y'all, I do a lot of time in the bathroom.
Well, in case anyone's watching the recording and can't read the chat, you really missed out on some good stuff. Don't go live while you're on the toilet. Yes, in there. But anyways, okay. So tell us if you've got one or two like good tips for people that, you know, work a high demand job like you do, that have, you know, busy days. What is your tip for them?
I would say set aside time. Another thing that I do that I forgot is, like, remember I said, even if it's only 15 minutes, in the very beginning, you really have to decide. And kind of one of the things that I've been asking my newer girls is, be honest with me. Tell me how much time you think that you can devote a day. I don't care if you tell me it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. And during that time, in between those commercials, if I'm not following up or doing something, I am writing down a few things that I need to make sure that I've done for the next day. Then I know I absolutely cannot go to bed unless I have done more than half, if not everything on that list. And again, it doesn't have to be long or it doesn't have to be a lot, but just making sure that I really have committed and I'm really being consistent, because consistency is key. And people need to see that you are like a store and you are always open for business, not 24/7, but for the most part, you're open for business. So if I'm gone for a while, then I'll be like, oh, I wonder if she still does that. What I never want to happen is someone to have to wonder whether or not I'm still doing It Works. I want to be the first person that they think about when they think about It Works. And really, it only takes a post or something a day. And you don't always have to, when you post, talk about It Works, but you best believe I've got a keto packet somewhere in the background, a hair, skin, and nails, or I'm just talking about, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. Thank God I have this energy, this keto energy that I can take to get me through the rest of the day. So I'm not necessarily being pushy or salesy. I'm just saying, hey, I use these products too myself, and I'm consistent with using these products, so they know. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You guys all touched on all the things, and I feel like, you know, I could say it a million times, but so much of success in this business is doing small things every single day, whether it's 5 minutes, like you said, or an hour, 2 hours. You know, some people have more time and that's okay. It's all about what you prioritize and what you're willing to do, and setting aside that time and being intentional with it, and not waiting until you have an hour to sit down and figure out what you need to do, but taking the 15 minutes that you do have and making something of it. Because if we're all very honest with ourselves, even at our busiest, we have 15 minutes that we can squeeze in here or there. We have a 5-minute bathroom break. You know, if you don't, you can probably sue your employer if you don't get a bathroom break or a lunch break. Like, there's an issue there. So we can talk about that later. But a couple of last tips that I want to leave you guys with is, okay, so building your list. If you have 30 minutes, 45 minutes at some point this week, it will help you if you have a list of people to start with, to reach out to contact, because the less time you are spending having to figure out who you're going to contact, the more time you can actually spend contacting people. So go through your friends list, go through your Facebook followers, and then make it your goal to add people to that list every time you get a few minutes to work, so you never run out of people on the list. That way, when you have a 30-minute lunch break, you're not sitting there scrolling, looking for someone to message about the products or the business. You can just go right to that list and you can get so much more done in a smaller amount of time. The next thing is saving post. Okay, posting is important. Consistency in posting is great. Like Lindsay and Kelsey said, like, that consistency will attract customers eventually. We don't always know when it's going to happen, but they will see it and they will eventually want to try the products. However, posting is not everything. A lot of our business is asking. a lot of our business goes down in inboxes, not just on our Facebook or Instagram wall. Plus, Facebook and Instagram's always changing, so we never really know what to expect. So the more time you can save on posting, the better. So a lot of times what I'll do is once a week, and I did this when I had a full-time job too, I would spend like 20, 30 minutes and creep on so many people in the It Works world, steal posts, copy, paste them. I would text them to myself or Facebook message them to myself to use later. Before I would ever post them, I always go through and I tweak it and I personalize it and make it my own. I use my own photo, but then I don't have to spend nearly as much time making a caption. All I have to do is choose a photo or take a photo and post it. So that way, if I have 30 minutes, my post is only taking 2 of the 30 minutes, and I've got 28 more minutes to message. So many people want the perfect post and the perfect wording and the perfect picture that they use all 30 minutes coming up with this post that only 8 people are going to see anyways. Don't waste your time with the content. And don't get me wrong, I want you guys to be personal. I want you to make your page your own. Don't copy and paste every single post ever. But for those of you that are busy, don't just not post because you don't know what to say. Okay, there's plenty of people on this team that would be honored if you would copy their post. Like, nobody's gonna be offended. If it is very personal to them, maybe don't steal that one if it doesn't make sense. Like, if someone talks about how they've lost 10 pounds and you haven't lost 10 pounds, don't copy and paste that one. You guys be smart about it. But don't be afraid to do that to save time on your busy schedule, because most of us get it and we know. And a lot of times if you steal a post that I made, I stole it from someone else and tweaked it. So you don't have to stress over that. And then very last, and I'll let you guys go, is showing people how you work. Okay, you guys are all busy. We all agreed that we all have a lot of stuff going on, especially when we join this business. Show people that. Do not pretend like you have all the time in the world to work this business. Don't always have your hair and makeup perfectly done if your hair and makeup is not perfectly done. If you are a mess building this business while doing laundry or picking up the kids, or you're on a lunch break, maybe don't take a selfie on the toilet. But any of the other things that you guys explained about being so busy and making time for this, Lindsay working from her car, all of those things are important for people to see. Because if that's the number one excuse people use to not join or to not work the business, they need to see that you're doing it anyways. So use that to your advantage. It's actually way more appealing to people to see someone just like them, or just like someone that has their exact same schedule still making time for this business, and seeing why you're still making time for this business even though you have a full-time job. So keep that in mind as you're posting and sharing and talking to people. Thank you guys for getting on here tonight. I will go back and laugh at all of the messages in the chat now, and we'll see you guys next week.